Going back in time, we did an episode that is, I think by now, probably a little out of date because this would predate. I mean, I guess Rhea and Phoebe were around at this point, but this predates any of the ODEs.
No, the Satiator was announced by then.
By this episode, we had talked about the Satiator.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it a little bit, like maybe brought up a little bit, but this did come out before a year after that Satiator video announcement.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember if we did talk about it or not, but we did talk about like burning discs and ODEs and stuff, ODEs and like backup methods of playing.
Okay, so for those who are just listening and not watching, I'll go back and explain. I'm talking about a retrospective that Pat put up for episode 3 of our podcast, which was like close to 4 years ago now. And it was called Let's Get Technical. And the idea here was just to bring folks perhaps that were coming back to the community after being away for a long time, or just Saturn newbies, basically bringing them up to speed regarding, burning games, ripping games, doing backups and CD rot, that kind of thing, any kind of technical issues that you might face, pseudo carts, Saturn Gamers cart. What were your biggest takeaways from this episode?
I think the biggest one is the obvious release of the armed unreleased prototype we did.
Oh, that's right.
I thought that I looked back. I was like, wait, we did it that soon? I didn't know it was that soon. I thought it was like towards the end of the season, but we did that episode 3. Dang.
And that was Kay's dump, right? That was Kay that dumped that. Okay. Yeah. So
we did an interesting thing where we put the decryption key on the thing, and we put the link in the chat in the episode, which I don't think we'd probably do nowadays.
Right. So yeah, our buddy and co-host, A Murder of Crows, he dumped a disc that I guess he got from a friend in Oregon, and this was Armed, or what was the alternate name for this game? It was there were two working titles for this game.
Was it Aftermath, or was that another
Aftermath?
One?
That's what it was. Armed Aftermath. Gotcha. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of like a side-scrolling Blackthorn kind of game, I think. Blackthorn looking kind of game. But anyway, unfinished, but still it's available on Hidden Palace if you want to go download it and check it out. In addition to that, we just talked about how to properly burn games, how to properly rip games. I think at this point we were still pretty staunchly backing the whole CCD clone CD image format, which is great for Rhea's and Phoebe's. Yeah. Of course, now we know, moving forward and into the future, I think most people want a standardized format, which should be bin queue or bin queue and tracks. And I think that's just kind of... Sorry?
Or ISO.
Are we trying to support ISO?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So Satiator supports ISO. I think Fenrir should support ISO. Mode almost certainly supports ISO. But really, the standard at the moment would be BinQ. It has more information retained, from what I understand.
Exactly.
Metadata and what have you.
Right.
And that's the set. The read-up set comes as BinQ. There's no reason to really change it. And any patcher that is going to go through the Sega Saturn patcher from Night is also going to have the option of keeping it BinQ.
Right. And if you do have, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of a sadness because everyone got on board with the CCD image sub files, but I mean, as we could see from a lot of all the other solutions, that sort of is the minority versus the majority, sadly. Well, but I guess it was before we really knew.
Proprietary format, so
Well, it is it is proprietary, and anybody who wants to use that format has to go either buy that software or acquire it through less than honest means. And essentially, the arguments in favor of it, I understand, are that Clone CD does a very good job of ripping games one-to-one. It does do a really good job. I would say probably if I was comparing side by side, I have had fewer issues with rips from Clone CD than from like say Image Burn or wherever I was ripping from. But that said, again, as you said, it's proprietary. It's not something that everybody can get their hands on. And then in addition to that, there is this idea or this thought that because it provides sub-channel data, that it's somehow superior. But of course, we know that the Saturn doesn't really use that channel of data unless we're talking about those CD plus G discs. Am I right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so it's
Yes, so you're right.
yeah, so in other words, it's such a fringe use case that really it's limited to people who it's basically limited to people who are reliant on the Phoebe or the Rhea as their ODE right now. I mean, for those folks, they're going to continue to use it. But the great thing is, even with Pat, you know, when he had a bunch of CCDs and he needed to get them over to BenQ, Knight was able to incorporate support for that in his patcher so that, you know, you can just convert.
I still pray to him every night and thank him because that literally saved me hours and hours of free ripping and downloading stuff.
I just want to say, like, Knight, shouts to Knight. I kind of feel like he's like that. He's the utility guy on a baseball team. Like, literally, he'll just go into any position, you know, and he'll just be like, what do you need? What do you need? You know, like, it's just really, really helpful. And I'm super thankful for, like, all of the help that you lend, you know, to folks. Very, very accessible and just very willing to, like, get on board with any project, just at least to see it, at least to point it in the right direction, you know. So I just feel like that's incredibly invaluable. And then, of course, Emerald, you know, we were talking last time that he's kind of the community organizer dude, and that's incredibly invaluable as well. So awesome folks.
Exactly. I couldn't think of any other better people to have in the community than those two guys.
Yep.
Not insulting anybody else. Like, I mean, there's a ton of people, but like those two are really good. But you know, of course, there's like Kay and everyone else and stuff.
Yeah, I want to have an episode, actually. I thought it would be a cool idea sometime when we're like lacking news. We can just do we can have a kind of like a
Slow news day special.
No, we can do a roast of of the members in our Saturn community. Where we can say like good things about them and then also like throw them under the bus. No, just kidding. No,
if it got to you, Dave, I would have to just kick you from the chat.
Oh my god, like seriously, if we get to me, I'm sure there's like so much. There's so much dirt. There's so much that folks could roast me on.
I kept all the receipts, Dave, so you're screwed.
You kept the receipts?
I kept the receipts, put them underneath my seat.
I'm sorry,
in my car.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so,
underneath it.
But, you know, do we recommend that folks go back and listen to this? I don't know. I kind of feel like we need to do a new one. This is one of those podcasts that kind of ages itself really quickly because the information is already out of date.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely would like to see what everyone else thinks. Definitely listen back to it, and if you guys think that it aged poorly, maybe we could add that to another cast list. Like, let's get physically technical.